and I secretly had a crush on her.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
But you didn't even admit it to yourself that you had a crush on me?
No,
It was just like secret?
yeah.
Welcome to the Obsessed or Not Interested podcast. I am your host, Mindy Querio, and I'm a small town go-to girl next door who is obsessed with helping others see more for themselves so they can thrive in all areas of life. I love researching all the things like wellness, mindset, relationships, you name it. If I'm obsessed with it, I get hyper-focused on it and I research the crap out of it, and then I share it with you. If those are things that you're also obsessed with, then keep listening and let's become new best friends. Welcome to the Obsessed or Not Interested podcast. I'm your host, Mindy Querio, and today we are going to have my husband come on the podcast for the very first time. But before I have him come on, I want to share my side of the story. So you guys are team Mindy. So you have to be on my side. I'm going to share my side of the story, and then I'm going to let Joey, my husband, share his side of our story. So today, that's what we're going to talk about. What is our story? How did we meet? How did we get together? What's the story? So let's start there. So I met Joey when I was 15 years old. We had mutual friends. We had right when I met him, we had a lot in common, not just the fact that we were friends with the same people, although that's really all it takes when you're 15 years old. But we were into the same things. I remember I used to drag race cars. So I was really into cars. My dad's like into old muscle cars and stuff. And his dad did the exhaust for my dad's cars and then eventually did the exhaust for my car when I was 14, 15 years old when I was rebuilding it. So he already knew of me. I knew of him when we first met. So we already knew we had things in common and we clicked right off the bat. But I also just liked him because he's my type of person. He's laid back. He could make me laugh until I peed my pants. Like we both have the same sense of humor. And for some reason, I rate having a sense of humor like really, really high. That may have been my problem going through relationships in life because I'm like, oh, well, he's really funny. I'm going to stay with him longer. No, just kidding. But he was really, really funny. And we all just kind of hung out in this group. Okay. We all had the same friends. We hung out in this group. Then I started dating a guy from Iron Mountain and and he was dating somebody. I was dating somebody. We dated these people for like a while. But we all hung out still together as couples or as friends or whatever. So Joey and I remained friends. Obviously, we all hung out and he was like one of my best friends. I always say like we're very magnetic. I should read my vows at the end of this episode because first of all, they were awesome. Not to pat myself on the back and toot my own horn, but I feel like my vows were very, very good. I should read them. But I said this in our vows. It's just like we've always been like magnets. Like we just connect. You know how this is. If you married your person and you guys are like best friends on top of being married, you know that what I'm talking about, that magnetic feeling and that connection you have with your person. So we even had that as friends. But long story short, we both broke up with those people. And that was like my first real heartbreak. I was like the heartbreaker. And now I was on the other side of it. And that was my first time I had my heart broken. And I was just like beside myself. And he was really there for me during that time. That led to that side of the friendship we never thought I never thought it would go into a relationship like that. But then after, we were hanging out one-on-one, we were both single, it ended up developing into a relationship. And I thought it was like a really good relationship. Again, I'm dating my best friend. And then on top of it, it's like my person. And it was just like, I was so, so happy, right? But I was just coming out of this long-term relationship. And so there was some growing pains, I guess you could say, because I just kind of like went from that relationship and then was single for a minute, had this friendship and then jumped into another relationship. So that was there was a little hiccup there. I decided because I was still kind of finding myself and you guys, reminder here, just so you know what age I am, I'm 21. Okay. So I went through this breakup at age 21. I'm out of college right now. Then I'd moved home and was still dating that guy, then went through this thing. And then Joey and I got together and now here I am 21 years old. And I'm like, what am I doing with my life here? So I decided I wanted to move back up to Marquette, not for school or anything, but I just wanted to get out of our town, get away from everybody and all our friends and just like remove myself from all of that. I don't know if you get what I mean, if you've ever experienced that. I just wanted to get away from everybody and I wanted to like start fresh. And by the way, Marquette compared to Iron Mountain, Michigan is an hour and 15 minutes away. So it's really not a big deal. So I did that. Joey and I ended up breaking up and we still remained friends. We still hung out all the time. He actually, so I moved to Marquette and I got a job as a nanny, a full-time nanny. He's the one that actually moved me. Here I am. I break up with him because I'm just not ready to be in another relationship. And then I'm like, I'm moving away. I need a fresh start. You know how 21-year-olds are. They think they got it all figured out and they think this is going to be like the band-aid that fixes everything. But it really did help. So he's the one that moved me to Marquette when I'm moving away from him. And he's also the one that moved me home when I was over it, but we'll get there. So I moved to Marquette and I still came home often. And every single time I came home, we still hung out, but just as friends. When I was in Marquette, I didn't start another relationship. I didn't have a boyfriend up there. It was just strictly me hanging out with one of my best friends still to this day. Her name's Chelsea. We lived together. We were roommates. I was a nanny. She had a good job. Like we were just there and she actually, at the same time, this was another reason that inspired me to move. She had a relationship. We both got into these serious relationships when we were in college. And then we both went through these hard breakups from those people at the same exact time. Anyways, so that was another reason why I wanted to move to Marquette because my friend had been going through something similar. I wanted to be with her. You get it. So at the end of the day, I stayed there for I think a year. Maybe I was in Marquette for a year. Like I said, I came home a lot. Joey and I still hung out. We still hung out with our group of friends, all the things when I came home. But then I was just like, I'm over it. I was homesick. I missed my nieces. I just want to come home. And so Joey drove up to Marquette and moved my butt all the way back home again, like a solid friend, right? And I can't wait to hear your this side of the story of all this. You guys are gonna be like, who do we believe?" Hey, listen, I'm 39 years old right now. Joey is also. It was a long time ago, so we'll see, and he has a better memory than me, but remember, you're team Mindy no matter what. That's what friends do, okay? You take your friend's side. Okay, so we move home and I think he was trying to like date me still and I was just like, "No, I kind of didn't want to be like involved in that friend group really. Just wanted to remove myself. Not that they weren't my friends, but just like I don't know how to explain it. I just wanted to work and to be with my family and new friends, new things, hang out with a new crowd. And so I was trying to kind of like remove myself, although those people are still my friends. And Joey was always a good friend of mine. He actually worked for my dad. My dad owned an appliance and furniture store, and I worked there as an office manager. But so did he work there. And so we'd see each other every single day and stuff like that. And then I started dating somebody, and that person I started dating, I ended up marrying and having 3 kids with. He didn't date for a while after that. He says it's my fault. We'll hear what he has to say when he comes on. He's like, "Oh, I couldn't date anybody for years after you." Okay. So then he found somebody, got married, had children, and then we still remained friends. But, like when you get married and you have children, you really don't go hang out with I didn't. I barely left the house. I didn't get a babysitter for Lane until he was like 18 months old was the first time I left my son, and I hated it. So it didn't leave my kids very often. And during that time, I was growing a business, multiple businesses. I was growing a 7-figure business. So when I wasn't doing things with my kids, I really didn't have I really focused on building a business and building my family. And so I didn't really see much of my old friends anymore or hang out in that group anymore. I just hung out with mom friends or like couples that were friends with both of us and couples, maybe that, or we had friends come over with their kids, but that's really it. But anytime I saw Joey, we picked up where we left off. We were still close friends, and his cousin, actually more like his sister, Melissa. You guys, if you follow me on social media, you probably see her on my stories and stuff. Her and I have been like best friends since I was 18 years old. Actually, Joey introduced us. And So, and I'm close with her family and her grandma, and I would go over there and see Joey there, So I was like kind of a part of their family a little bit in a way. I was part of their family. So I would see him and we were just connected. You know what I mean? And connected through my best friend, Melissa. So fast forward past all that, I'm going through a divorce. And I'm going through this divorce. Actually, I was maybe through my divorce at this point, but then he ended up going through divorce and he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I'm really sorry for what you're going through. I heard about that. I just want to let you know I understand how you might feel because I'm also going through a divorce and yada yada yada." So that kind of picked up where we started talking, and I'm telling you what, we didn't start talking as in like, "Oh, let's date again," and whatever. It really started off as a friendship because we both knew what I didn't have anybody else that I knew was going through something like me. And he didn't have anybody else to talk to. And I know he's vault and he knew I was vault. So we kind of had that connection where we would talk about, certain things that we had gone through. And we were friends and just there for each other. So he then asked me to like there was flirting happening, okay? There's flirting happening, and here's me who literally, you guys, my thing was I'm going to be alone forever, and I declared this is what I wanted. I'm like, I'm never getting married again. I don't want to date. I think it's awkward, uncomfortable. I'm never having anybody around my children. I'm going to be alone forever. I was like the most toxic, independent woman that you could ever meet. Like if some guy asked to hold the door open for me, I'm like, I got this. I can pay for myself. I pay for my family. I don't need no man. Like if a box of furniture came, I was there putting it together myself just to prove a point, wouldn't call anybody for help. Like legit was the most toxic independent person. So good luck, Joey. So when he was flirting with me, it was like not really happening. I was like, no, 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 no. And then I started, it's like, okay, this is Joey. I trust him. I always saw him as this protector of me and somebody who literally, you guys, if you could understand, like I would be across the fire. You know how you have those fires when you're younger? And I'd just be talking, talking, talking. And I would just look over and catch Joey's eye. And he'd just be like, smiling, staring at me. And I'm like, what are you looking at? I go over there. Why were you staring at me? Oh, I just love you. I just love your personality. I love your laugh. I love your smile. Like he genuinely loved the little things about me, all the things about me. So, when he started flirting with me again, even though I was independent, don't need no man, I'm single forever, I eventually opened up a little bit because there was trust there. You know what I mean? And so what happened then, he asked me out on a date and I said, "I'm sorry, my son Lane asked me not to date anybody, so I don't feel like that would be appropriate." I promised him I wouldn't do that. And I'm not saying this is right that have your kids dictate what you do. This is just in my head. I was like, "That's fine, Lane, because I'm going to be single forever. So it is fine." Well, I talked to Lane on the way home from school one day. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got asked out on a date," like jokingly. And he's like, "Oh, really? From who?" I was like, "I'm not telling you." I told him no anyway, Lane, so don't worry. Cause he's like, "Well, you better not go." Like he was like that. And I was like, "Oh, no, no, no." I told him, "No, don't worry." I said, "I promised my son Lane I'm not dating, blah, blah, blah." He's like, "Well, who is it?" And I said, "Okay, promise you won't tell." And his really good friends in his class is Joey's niece. So he's known Joey forever through me, through Melissa, and through his friend in his class. So I just said, "It's Joey." And he's like, "What? Seriously?" And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Don't worry." He's like, "Well, mom," he sat there and looked out the window, thought about it for a second. He goes, "Well, if you're going to date somebody, I guess that would be okay to go on a date with him." And I was like, "Wait, what? Really?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'd be okay with him, but only him, like nobody else." I was like, "I will see if he is still interested." So I wrote Joey later on that night. I was like, "Listen, this conversation happened and this is what Lane said." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, let's do it." So then we ended up doing that. We ended up going on a date. And then Joey and I will talk about our relationship from this point on together. So I'm going to put a pin in it. And Joey's going to be walking in the door any second. And we're going to ask him to go way back when. And let's see his version. Remember, you're Team Mindy. Don't be a traitor. Why, hello, Joey.
Hello.
So, welcome to the podcast. This is your first, it's your debut.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay. So, they're for sure team me. So, whatever you say, they're going to think is a lie. So, here's what I did I recorded before you got home and I shared our story and I went all the way back to when we first met. So, I'm just going to interview you and you just have to answer the questions. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So, why don't you take us way back? When did we meet?
On the Iron Mountain Strip, it's kind of like Vegas, but different.
Yeah, it's very similar. Not at all. If you're new here, we're from the smallest town on the planet, Iron Mountain, Michigan, in the UP.
But we didn't actually talk much. And then I was invited to your birthday party by another fellow.
Wait, so why didn't we talk much?
I don't know. You had your friends, I had mine.
And so you would just see if we like stopped, like we did something and we called it pounding the drag. So you just drove your car from one end of town to the next, and then you'd have to stop places, right?
It's 1 mile, yeah.
It's 1 mile, and you would stop places and get out of your vehicles and chit chat. So this is where we met. You're saying,
Yep.
okay. And then who invited you to my party?
I think it was TJ.
Okay, that's a friend of ours. And it was at my house.
Yeah, it was your 16th birthday, and she's much older than I am, so I was
Oh,
15.
whatever. I already told them how old we were. That we're both the same age.
Yeah,
You're a little bit older than me.
younger.
Okay, so then what? Okay, so then you came to my birthday party, and then what else?
I don't know. Like, what do you mean, what else?
So then we were friends.
Oh, yeah, we were
Okay.
friends, really close friends for many a years till we were, I don't know. She used to give me dating advice
Yeah.
and all that kind of good stuff. And then,
But wait, tell the story about who I tried to hook you up with that one time.
all right, well, her and another girl said, "We have the perfect girl for you. You guys are going to get along perfect. This is going to be awesome." And they're telling this girl the same thing, that we got this perfect guy for you.
I'm
And
awesome.
we meet at Pizza Hut parking lot. That was one of our stops on the drag. And I get out of the vehicle and I start walking over to this vehicle full of girls. And I bend down and look in, and the girl was my cousin.
I accidentally tried to hook him up with his cousin. This girl that's his cousin is from, as you heard on my story, I'm from a town, Niagara, Wisconsin, 2 miles away from Iron Mountain, Michigan. So we went to different schools. So this girl was my friend from my school, but I had no idea that they were related. So me and my friend were like, we got the girl for you. You're going to love her. And then he's like, yeah, that's my cousin.
Yeah, good one.
I'm really good at matchmaking. Call me up.
Well, we had
Okay.
a lot in common, a lot of family members and stuff.
Oh, yeah, you do have a lot. So then where were we? I have ADHD. Okay.
Yeah.
Then what?
Then she was dating basically my best friend at the time. So we were all very close, hanging out all the time. And I secretly had a crush on her.
Oh, you did.
Yeah, throughout that time. And then,
But you had a girlfriend.
yeah.
But you didn't even admit it to yourself that you had a crush on me?
No,
It was just like secret.
yeah. And then you broke up with your boyfriend, and I broke up with my girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And we hung out one night, and here we are.
Yeah, I okay, I don't want to say what I said. I was going to say I said that when I was going through my breakup, you were there for me, like even like the first night. Remember that? I think it was the first, maybe it wasn't the first night. I have the worst memory. Joey has a great memory. But remember I told you this story of what happened and you felt
Yeah.
so bad.
Well, we were always really close.
Yeah.
And really good friends.
Yeah.
So it was weird for me to be in love with you.
Yeah. So you probably just, for me, I said we were, well, not to put words in your mouth about your story, but I said we were very magnetic.
Mm-hmm.
And I just was like, well, that's just because he's my best friend. But then when you were allowed yourself to be like, wait a minute, now we're both single. That's how I felt. Did you feel like that?
Yeah, I mean, I was really attracted to you, though. You were beautiful and stuff. So I don't know.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we're both single. We break up, we're single, or we break up from our past relationship. We're both single. Then how did we get together?
We hung out with each other one night, and I told you that I liked you. and you said that you liked me too, and then we had a little kiss
Where was that at?
in front of my parents' house.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought it was at the Sportsman's Club.
No,
No?
we didn't kiss there.
Okay.
It was the following night.
Okay, what did we do? Like we just like hung out that night and then I just bringing you home or something?
Yeah, we went driving around.
Time out real quick. I want to talk to you about the Hyper Focus Journal. This is a journal that I've been gushing about on my podcast over and over and over. So, something that I used to struggle with anytime I wanted to start something, whether it be a new workout program, a new business, whatever the thing is, I would always be waiting to feel motivated to start. When the reality is, what I've learned is that action creates motivation. So, all you need to do is like literally take the first step. And the first step could be getting the Hyper Focus Journal and just starting slowly but surely creating that morning routine. You guys already know this about me, but I went from being broke, shy, insecure, on state assistance, working 50 hours a week away from my son, and just being completely stressed and overwhelmed in my life. And how I turned that all around was by changing my daily habits. And that is what you're going to get with the Hyper Focus Journal. There's no BS, there's no fluff. It's not going to take you a week or two to try to read the directions and figure out how to use the dang thing. It's very straightforward, to the point, and it gets the job done. This is the planner that you're actually going to use. With the Hyper Focus Journal, it's going to help you in so many ways. It's going to help you gain confidence, change your mindset, have peace and calmness, stop feeling so scattered daily, feel more accomplished, and get focused. Okay, let's just get to the point. What is this journal inside? So you're going to get my full goal setting system. It's a 5-step process. I'm telling you, the most basic step-by-step guide on goal setting that you've ever seen. And then you go into the daily pages, and on the daily pages, it's going to prompt you to do affirmations, gratitude. I'm going to teach you how to create and pick your hyper focus goals, and then you'll create a hyper focus to-do list and then just a regular to-do list every single day. It's going to keep you accountable. It's going to build those daily habits, and you're going to be able to 10x your goals. Oh, and last thing, it's really cute. There's 2 different covers to choose from. One is like this dreamy ocean vibe, and then the other one is like this very chic, bold, professional red. They are both 7 by 8.25 size. And what I love about that is it's big enough to use. It's not like a notepad, but also you can throw it in your purse. You know what I mean? So it's not too small, not too big. So you have that daily hyper-focused to-do list every single day, wherever you go. That is why I love the Hyper-Focus Journal. I made this for myself, and if you're like me, I created it for you too. So just head over to hyperfocusmentor.com and use the code OBSESSED at checkout to get free shipping off your order. Again, that's hyperfocusmentor.com and use the code OBSESSED for free shipping on your journal, and you can order yours today. Okay, so now we're dating. So what happened? So we're dating. You're in love. I'm in love.
Yeah, I don't know.
What do you have to say about that? Nothing?
We
That's fine.
dated.
You're a dude. You
Yeah.
don't have to elaborate.
I don't know. We had a great time together. I know that. We had lots of fun.
Oh, wait. I know what I was going to
We
ask
had a
you.
good time.
How old are we?
At that time, I was much younger, so I was 20.
No, you were
You were
21.
21. I didn't turn 21 yet.
Okay.
I didn't turn 21 till a month after.
Okay. So, okay, we're like 21 years old,
Yeah.
we'll just say. So just so you know, if this sounds immature, it's like we're 21 years old. So tell me something. What do you remember about me dating me the first time? What'd you think of me?
I loved you very much. I always have.
Yeah. Always since day one?
Yeah.
Aw.
You're hot. You're funny. You're fun to be around.
Am I the funniest person you ever met? Probably. I mean, for sure.
Well, I did just see Dane Cook or whatever.
Dane Cook, but you didn't meet him, so you don't know him. So now answer the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure. What happened? We break up.
And we break up.
How was that?
Horrible.
Okay, let's not go into that.
Worst time in my life.
Yeah. But we remained friends.
Yeah. Yeah, we remained friends pretty much for our whole lives. I mean, there was a lot of time there we didn't talk. We went on different paths.
When?
Like
After that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I said that too. But like I'm saying, but we're still in right now, we're 21, 22 years old here. So I moved to Marquette.
I moved her to Marquette.
I moved to Marquette and I had a moving company named Joe Querio help me.
And then I moved her back from Marquette. And
You sound thrilled over this.
And then I moved her back to Marquette.
I didn't go back again. Oh, I was like, wait, did I move back? No. But we remained friends that whole time. Like I'd come home on the weekends when I lived in Marquette. We'd hang out, right?
Yeah. You know what's one time like I really fell in love with you is when you were in Marquette going to school the very first time.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And we went, can I say booze cruising on your
Listen, don't send this to any policemen.
We went booze cruising.
We were young, okay?
We were 18.
Don't recommend.
And we went cruising around and stopped at some friends' houses and stuff. But that night I'm like, man, this girl.
Well, why didn't you hit on me?
Because you had a boyfriend and I had a girlfriend.
Oh, I didn't think I had a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Well, then I don't think you should have then.
Which was my friend, so.
I was not dating your friend at that time.
Yeah, you were.
I don't remember that.
You were going to Houghton that weekend.
Oh, okay.
Because we were going to meet up. Because that's where I was going to work.
Okay. And your girlfriend lived in, or maybe you didn't have the girlfriend yet.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, see, you had a girlfriend too, so you couldn't hit. Oh,
well,
I didn't hear that part. Okay. So now I moved back from Marquette. I'm working at my dad's store. Go from there.
At the time
22 probably.
Worked for a metal building company, and she worked there
at my dad's store.
Yeah, and we hung out every day from the time we got out of work till the time we went to bed
as friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then told me one day that she had a guy she was going on a date with and sucked my soul right out of my body.
I thought you were working at my dad's store at that time.
Oh, yeah.
You were? See, I have a good memory. That was part of my story.
Yeah, right at the end there, I started working for your dad.
Okay.
Yeah, the last couple of months that we hung out.
That's what I thought, because I remember telling you at my dad's store, that was like, I'm going on a date, and you can't be mad at me.
Well, I was there all the time anyways.
Yeah.
Right by the microwave.
Oh, right by the microwave at the appliance store. So then what happened? So I go on the date, and then we just go our separate ways. Basically, we're still friends.
Yeah, we didn't talk much after that, though.
No, we didn't, because how I explained it, and you can do your version, is that I kind of wanted to just break free from like that old group of friends. Not any, I still love my friends. I just wanted a fresh start. And then I was dating, but I also had 2 jobs. I was working full time at my dad's store as an office manager. And then somebody who's like my brother, he's one of my dad's best friends, but I've always considered him a brother. He was starting a new business, opening up at a bar. So I was the bartender basically every single day. I leave work and go bartend. So I was really busy.
Yeah.
I didn't do things with people.
Which would have worked out if we were still together, because I drank all the time then.
Yeah, we're 22 years old at this point. So then I go my separate ways. I get married, have kids. You get married, have kids. And I go through a divorce. You go through a divorce. Okay, let's skip that whole, because obviously we weren't in each other's lives very much, because you were busy being married and having kids. I was married and had kids. We still were friendly when we saw each other and friends.
Yeah,
we just didn't hang out.
Yeah, we didn't hang out or anything.
We're
like
raising
that, or
babies
talk on the phone, but I wished her happy birthday
every year.
And then if we had questions about something that the other person knew something about.
Okay, but then I get divorced.
I also get divorced.
And then to pick up from there.
And then I think it was the day before Valentine's Day. Well, we were hanging out because we were both going through things anyways, and we were friends, and then we became even more friendly because we
could relate
in each other.
Yeah, we could relate.
Had the same stuff going on. And then, well, my love for her never went away. So I was like, oh, I'm going to pounce.
I'm going to pounce.
Oh my goodness. But she denied and denied and denied me.
Not really denied and denied.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay. It's your story. I'm trying not to manhandle this episode.
And then I asked her out on a date, and she said she had to ask her kid first, Lane. And
So much game I have.
And he said that she wasn't allowed to date. And then she asked him, and I've known Lane since he was a little kid from school and sports and whatnot. And she said, "What if it was me?" And he said, "That's the only person you can go on a date with," which he's probably regretting his
No, he loves you. Facts, though. That's all facts.
And then, yeah, we went out and hung out and had a good time. And then I had her have a couple cocktails, and then I asked her to be my girlfriend because I knew
Yeah,
I'd
you
get
had
her
to get
then.
me buzzed first.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. No, but we didn't make it official for a minute. Like we really I
Yeah, a
would
long time.
Okay, so now talk about this real quick. I talked about how I was because I think this is something people can learn. Because I know this is our story and it's like cute because we knew each other when we were 15, we dated, we went our separate ways, we got back together. But something I made a mistake about doing, there's so many mistakes I made.
Well, we're
But
the king of mistakes.
huh?
I said, we're the king of mistakes.
Yes, but here's the thing, we can share our mistakes to help them. So something I did, I was very toxic independent. Was I not? Was
Yes.
I don't need a man.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
or
buys her own flowers. She writes her name in the sand. She's that
what?
person.
It was me though.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going out to dinner and I'm going by myself.
Oh yeah, I took myself out on
I don't
dates.
need no man. And I'll get this. And she's over there going, trying to peel something open.
But I wouldn't ask for help.
And she'd slam it on the counter and walk away. And I'd just loosen it for her so when she came back, she could open it.
Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't recommend here's the thing for a relationship. Now that we've gone to therapy, we went on like a couples retreat thing. We're reading, not that we got it all figured out. Obviously, we've been married for a year. I'm just saying we have went through marriages like
Best year of my life, by the way.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, even though your house burnt down
I don't care
during
about
that first year.
Doesn't
Okay.
faze
But
me.
hang on, let me get to this point. We had been married. We have gone through divorce, not to each other. We were married to other people, went through divorce, started dating again, got married again, and blended a family. So I'm not saying we got it all figured out, but what Joey and I are equally together is we love each other so much that we want to not make the same mistakes that we had and do better for each other. And so something that I realized, it took me a while, and thank God I had you, because if I had another dude, they'd be like, bye.
Oh, they'd have been long gone.
I was the worst. Like the only reason I think you stuck around is because you know the real me. And you know, okay, she's acting like this, but she'll come around. Is that why you think?
No, yeah,
You didn't think I
maybe.
would come around?
I didn't know. And I didn't care. I was in love with you and I was willing to do whatever it took.
Okay.
So I'm like, if I got to change this way or that way to be with her, that easy peasy.
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah, but it was hard, I'm sure, because in a marriage, the man has to be that, and you always hear and read about the masculine and the feminine energy, but there is something to be said about that because I want Joey to be a freaking man.
Well, and she didn't know how much she needed me anyways because she just thought the garbage magically got taken out.
Shut up, Joey.
And all the boxes magically disappeared.
Still to this day, I'm just like dee through life, and Joey's just walking behind me, finding my cell phone, finding
picking up all her things.
Yeah. But you know what? I love that. And I think that's why we work so well together, Joey, is because I have learned, I wasn't like this starting out, but I have to be feminine in our marriage. In my business, though, I'm very masculine. And I can flip that switch and be like, take control and be controlling in the sense of like, because I'm business minded. And that's how I am in business with my team and my leadership skills and building a business. I love being masculine in that space, but I had to learn that in this space with our marriage, it doesn't work. I want Joey to open my car door. I want Joey to take care of things. I want Joey to figure out I have ADHD.
I call and make her nail appointment.
Yes. And that sounds so weird, and judge me all you want, but he knows that I freaking hate talking on the phone. Why can't I just book a nail appointment online?
Yeah, I'm at work cutting with a chainsaw. I'm like, hold on a second. And they're like, I'm like, mani and pedicure at this time, please.
With Amy,
With Amy. Nobody else.
a dip manicure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he said, well, I'll call for you. Cause I'm like, oh, I don't want to, cause I would put off going. I hate going to appointments. I hate getting my hair done. I hate getting my nails done, but I want to get it done. But I hate sitting there because then it's a waste of time. I'm not that person. But I was like, oh, I'm just not going to go because I didn't want to call. And Joey's like, give me the damn phone. And he's like, I'll call and make the appointment. So now not every time, but most of the time, you'll make my appointments for me.
Every time but one.
Yeah. And then there's other things that I just like you to handle because I operate as my best self when I'm worrying about what I'm good at. And that's my kid, being a mom, being a wife, and my businesses and work.
Here's when I drew the line on calling for the nails.
What?
When I called and made an appointment with Amy and like, oh, she's on vacation. Sorry. I texted you, Amy's on vacation. You said, well, make me an appointment with the girl to the right of her.
By the way,
I didn't even text
it's
her
Ivy.
back.
It's Ivy. It's Ivy. I called Michael. See, I know their names, but I just drew a blank. Sometimes I do that on names. I'm like, Michael, who sits next to Amy? And he's like, Ivy. And I called and made my own appointment that time.
Because I was texting her back to Amy's right or your right? Because you're looking.
I was like, I don't even know. I'm calling Michael.
And I was like, no, I ain't doing that.
Okay. Anyways, so what's some other advice you could give people? So let's just say, so you got your dream girl. Is that what you think? Okay. So what could you say if somebody has gone through a breakup or a divorce? What is some advice you could give somebody about dating again, like getting into it again?
Be 100% truthful
and yourself and authentic.
Yeah.
Just don't beat around the bush. Like, yeah, that would be my advice is just be authentic and be truthful. And I don't know what else. Let's not even talk about this because this will be a whole nother episode, is talking about how to co-parent and blend a family. That will be a whole nother episode. And I have a girl coming on who literally that is like
nothing to it.
Is there really nothing to it?
Okay. It's not bad.
What's not bad? Blending a family.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Well, we all mesh together easy. So.
Oh, no. Yeah. How did that go? Let's talk about that. Okay. So we start dating, you guys. We didn't introduce kids to, my kids knew Joey, and I knew Joey's kids, but we didn't want them to, we just didn't feel right about telling them that we were dating yet. So what we did, tell them what we did, right? Remember when we had like the group date the group dinner with Melissa and extended?
Yeah, where was that?
My house.
Was it?
I think so, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
Yeah. We invited you and the boys over. I think it was at my house. And then I had Melissa and her mom and maybe your sister. Like, I'm kind of like integrated in their family anyway. So it wasn't weird. Like we just ordered pizzas and just had like a quick 2-hour hangout.
Just hung out and stuff.
So it wasn't like we were dating. It was just like getting them familiar with the kids and just see how it went.
Yeah. And then like she came over to my house like once or twice for not very long, just like stopping over.
Mm-hmm. And I swear that his boys to me, like it was easy. It felt like, I think it's because I didn't try to come in as another mom.
Yeah.
I was just like, I'm Minnow, like how I would with Melissa's son, or how I would, not like an aunt. I always say like the aunt, because obviously I'm not an aunt, but I had aunt energy, like cool aunt energy at that point.
Their buddy.
Yeah. Like I wasn't trying to say whatever, like they didn't live with me at that time. Obviously now they know I have rules, but your kids don't see me as like somebody who's like, I feel like they almost see me more as a pushover, and I feel like I have more rules than you because I'm not.
Well, you are pushover.
I am. So they think Lennon just tries to, oh, Minnow, can I, whatever, not with snacks or sugar, because I'm like the Nazi about that. But like with other things, oh, can I have this? Can I do this? but they never, if I have rules and boundaries, they just know about them and it's not a surprise. Don't you
No.
think?
Yeah, I think that, I don't know. They're all good kids, so
Yeah, and they
it all
blended
works out.
together very, and you know what?
COVID was the
Yeah,
best thing
I was
ever.
just going to say, go ahead, talk about that.
Yeah, COVID, that's kind of when everybody started hanging out all the time because that's all we had.
Mhm.
We couldn't hang out with anybody else, so we'd go over there often, pretty much every night, and eat dinner and go over there during the day, and the kids would hang out and sled and stuff because then the kids became like best friends with one another because they didn't have any other friends to hang out
Yeah,
with.
and Lane's very social, but he couldn't have any friends over. And so like they all just became each other's friends, and it was pretty cool. It
Yeah,
was actually, COVID sucked. But at the same time, it's like, so you wouldn't want to wish that upon anybody to go through all of that at the same time as COVID. But at the same time, it all worked out because our kids ended up blending so well together and our family just integrated very seamlessly.
yeah, and we got to hang out all the time.
Yeah, that was really fun.
It was fun.
The benefit, the blessing and the negative, I guess, would be that. I just feel like they would just really click. Our kids really click. Of course, my oldest is now almost 16. Your oldest is going to be 12. So those two, they have a weird dynamic now, the teenage weirdness,
Yeah, they're just both always right, and they both just annoy
type
each other.
A's.
So it's pretty typical, I think.
Yeah, but you know what? It's never fighting.
No, they never fight with
It's
each
more
other.
avoidance.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one fights. And by the way, I have, you guys know this. I have two special needs kids. Tell them how you think your kids did with coming into a family with two special needs kids and they had no experience
Yeah,
or
never once.
so
We just explained it to them, and they took it like they've been with her whole life, and
yeah.
they're obsessed. If
Yeah.
Lily wanted them to dress up in dresses, they'd dress up in dresses. If Lily wanted their faces painted, they painted their faces. They just did whatever she wanted because
And they had a ball doing it.
they're obsessed with her.
Yeah, they never it's so refreshing and I want to say shocking almost, but it shouldn't be shocked because they're just good kids. All our kids are good kids. But what I'm saying is I could see how some certain things could get annoying or they could get frustrated, but you never see them snap on Lily or Hudson, but they never I mean, maybe get a little short. I mean, not really even.
Not
They just
really.
treat her like, well, she's the only girl. We have 5 kids blended together and she's the only girl.
Yeah,
So she's the princess of our household.
yeah, and she gets treated as such.
So we blend our family and we get married and we live happily ever
Yeah.
after.
The best day. My kids were so excited when I said I'm gonna ask Minnow to if she'll marry me, and they were like ecstatic, like yes, yes, high fiving each other.
Oh my gosh, really?
Uh,
And you
and
did it right here.
yeah, right out this window. Yeah, so I told them probably like 3 weeks before I did it, and then so I had them come pick the ring out and stuff with me.
Oh,
So yeah, that was fun.
that's cute. And like me, I turn around because I didn't know what was happening, obviously. And I turn around to look at the boys to see their reaction because I'm like in the moment with Joey and we're like hugging and kissing and crying and whatever. When after you ask, I turn around and look at the boys and there's Mason with the phone.
All
And
sideways.
yeah, trying his best, like taking videos and pictures. And Lennon is just like so excited. And then Mason's like, who can I call to tell about this? Remember that? He wanted to call everybody to tell everybody. I'm like, oh, well, I don't know. So that's our story. That's how we got together. That's our backstory from 15 years old. So we were together. We went our separate ways. We found our way back to each other years and years down the road. And now here we are.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we don't have enough time in the world to explain everything, but
No,
I could never be happier. She definitely is the love of my life and definitely worth
worth
anything.
worth the wait.
Yeah.
Was that worth the wait?
Yeah.
Worth dealing with all me losing my phone in the airport bathroom, maybe. 'Cause
Well, you
that's
lose everything always. So
but you just deal with it.
every night she lays down, she goes, "Oh, I forgot my retainer."
Listen, they don't know about the retainer yet.
They do now. She's
I
like
wear
Kanye.
I wear a retainer every night. I can't sleep without it. And I mouth tape. And what else do I do that's so hot?
Wear weird headbands.
Oh, tell them about my neck. Well, anyways, it's a headband that you put around your neck or your chin to get that snatched jaw.
Yeah.
I did that twice. I was like, I can't sleep like this. Yeah, but you just love me anyway.
Yeah, you're beautiful.
Okay. That's all. That's our story. We'll come on again and we're going to talk about our Italy honeymoon the next time.
By the way, that's what she told me we were talking about today.
Oh, did you think that's
So
what?
I was just like, I'm thinking today, and I'm just like, yeah, all this stuff
Should we
about
record
Italy.
again?
And we walk in the door, and she's like, yeah. So, anyways, this is this. I'm like, what? Wait a minute.
See, this is what it's like being married to me, though, because this is how I roll.
Yeah, because
You got to just keep up.
I believe the text message says we're going to do the podcast tonight, and we're going to talk about Italy.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast, Joey.
Thanks for having me.
Where can people stalk you and follow you? That's what I usually.
Come to Iron Mountain.
Come to the UP.
Yeah.
Will you take them on a side-by-side ride?
Yeah.
Well, what could they do if they hung out with you? If somebody came to visit you in the UP, what would be like the first thing you do with them?
Take them to dinner.
Where at?
Probably Spiro's.
Oh, okay. Not like Long Branch or something.
Well, if it was a Friday, we'd have to go get a fish fry.
Yeah.
So then we do that, and then go side by siding, and then maybe have a couple beers.
Yeah. What kind of beers?
Not Bud Light. Just kidding.
I know. That's what I was waiting for you to say. Is it Bud Light? Like
Whatever
you
they
care?
prefer.
Whatever you prefer. It's on the house, right,
Yeah,
Joey?
Freebies.
Or is it BYOB?
I'll buy.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I guess how you can stalk Joey is by coming to the UP.
Yeah, go to the road commission if it's during my work hour.
Okay. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Joey.
Yep. Bye.
Seriously, thank you so much for listening to this episode of Obsessed or Not Interested podcast. I love connecting with you on social media. So if you guys want, please shoot me a DM at either our podcast Instagram, which is at Obsessed or Not Interested, or even my personal Instagram, which is at Mindy Wender. I check them both, so either is fine. Oh, and truly, if this has helped you even 1%, if you could do me a huge solid and leave me a rating and review, that would mean the world to me. When you guys do that, here's why I really love it. It's because it helps the podcast be able to reach more women who want and need this. So truly, that is like the best compliment you could ever give me, is just leaving ratings and reviews for this podcast. Anything that I talked about in today's episode, any links or resources, you will find that in the show notes. Thank you for listening to today. Can't wait to chat more in the DMs, and don't forget to tune in next Tuesday.